From the longest wave ever ridden to surfing's special connections to the electric Kool-Aid, these are 20 surfing facts you didn't know. Number 20. In January 2023, Blake Johnston of Australia made waves in a way that most can only dream. At Cronulla Beach in New South Wales, Blake embarked on a surfing journey unlike any other. For an astonishing 40 hours, he paddled and rode wave after wave, racking up over 700 in total. This wasn't just a personal milestone, it was a record-breaking feat. Blake's extraordinary endurance and skill on the surfboard landed him in the Guinness Book of World Records.
A former professional Australian surfer has broken the world record for the longest surf session.
For the longest surfing marathon ever. But believe it or not, surfing wasn't always about riding sick waves. Here's fact number 19. And I bet you didn't know that the first surfboard was carved out of a tree trunk. Back in ancient Polynesia, surfers were ripping waves on heavy wooden boards carved right out of tree trunks. No joke, these were the original wave beasts. Since then, surfboards have hit a whole new level. Now they're made out of fiberglass, epoxy, and can cut through the ocean like it's nothing. Speaking of how far the sport has come, which brings us to number 18. Surfing was originally used as a way to travel from one island to another. For thousands of years, the ancient Polynesians harnessed the power of the ocean in a way that's both practical and crazy. These early surfers weren't just catching waves for fun. They were pioneers, using large pieces of wood to navigate the vast Pacific Ocean. Their understanding of wave patterns and currents was so advanced, it was similar to the ship navigation techniques we see today. The Polynesians were master sailors, capable of finding their way across the open sea without any land in sight. In fact, according to several sources, one sailor named Heihei got left behind during an expedition from Tahiti to Hawaii. However, when his crew returned, they found out that Heihei had made it back home by surfing the waves across the entire journey. Now, while we're talking about the origins of surfing, here's fact number 17. In Hawaii, surf means a big, awesome wave. They picked this word because it nailed the whole vibe of catching waves. The ancient Hawaiians had different terms for surfing. For the smaller waves, they'd say making paho, which was like saying, hey, let's push these boards into the water and zip through these waves. But when the big boys rolled in, they switched it up and called it hanu amayu, basically shouting out, look at that curved surfboard go. Over time, these phrases got mashed together and shortened. That's how we got our word surf. Now let's move on to number 16. Turns out Elvis and Gidget weren't the only Hollywood movie surfers. Andy Warhol dabbled in surfing too, kind of. He made a surfing movie, and while he owned a surfboard, he wasn't exactly keen to take it for a spin in the waves. Fast forward to today, and there's this rad collection of artistic surfboards cruising through galleries. Created by Tim Bessel, these boards feature Warhol's famous silkscreens. It's not just Warhol making a splash on these boards. You'll find images of other celebs like Elvis and Mick Jagger. And get this, some of these boards are selling for up to $20,000. Number 15. But actors aren't the only celebrities who can surf. Gordon Ramsay can do it too. Ramsay is a man of many talents, from his early days in professional soccer to becoming the fiery star of hit cooking shows like Hell's Kitchen, The F Word, and MasterChef. But guess what? He also made a splash in the surfing world, down under in Australia. An Australian newspaper coined him a wave warrior after spotting him at his first surfing lesson. True to his nature, Ramsay picked up surfing with the same speed and finesse he's shown in every other aspect of his life. Number 14. The Brotherhood of Eternal Love, also known as the hippie Mafia, is quite the story from the 60s and 70s. These guys were a group of California surfers who took a wild turn. They decided to spread their love for psychedelics by smuggling loads of LSD into the country. It's like they went from riding waves to riding a psychedelic mission. One of their members got caught as recently as 2009 after dodging the law for 40 years. But cool new ways for drug trafficking isn't the only thing surfer dudes invented. Number 13. They also invented skateboarding. When the waves weren't cooperating or the ocean was just too far away, surfers got creative. Around the late 1950s, they had this bright idea. Why not bring the surf to the streets? So, what did they do? They took roller skates and mashed them up with surfboards, creating the first skateboards. It was like a mini surfboard with wheels. This new gadget was a game changer. It meant surfers could keep honing their skills on land, no matter the weather, the tides, or lack of waves. Now it's time for number 12. As the 20th century dawned, surfing in Hawaii was almost extinct, but then a revival started, sparked by a handful of Hawaiians who began to reconnect with this vital part of their heritage. Duke Kahanamoku was central to this revival. Born on August 24, 1890 in Honolulu, Hawaii, Duke came into the world before the political upheavals that would change his homeland forever. He actively brought surfing back to life in Hawaii and didn't stop there. Using his Olympic fame as a springboard, Duke traveled far and wide promoting Hawaiian culture and surfing traditions. Duke's passion and charisma played a huge role in making surfing popular again, not just in Hawaii, but all around the world. But this isn't the only major surfing event Duke is responsible for. Number 11. Kahanamoku brought surfing to Australia on December 24, 1914 at Freshwater Beach in Sydney, starting a long-standing surfing tradition there. He was touring Australia for his swimming skills and had already attracted a crowd of followers. With a surfboard he built himself from wood he picked up at a hardware store, Duke headed to Freshwater Beach. The crowd was in for a treat as Duke showcased his impressive wave sliding abilities. His performance on that day left everyone amazed. The surfboard he used, a piece of surfing history, is still on display at the Freshwater Surf Club. To commemorate Duke's impact, Freshwater Beach now features a bronze statue of him. Let's move on to number 10. The record for biggest wave isn't held by famous surf spots like Jaws, Mavericks, or Nazaire, but by Lutaya Bay in Alaska. In 1958, this quiet bay witnessed something extraordinary. An earthquake measuring 8.3 on the Richter scale struck the area and triggered a massive landslide. Around 40 million cubic yards of dirt and glacier tumbled down from a mountainside into the water. This colossal movement created an unbelievable 1,720-foot wave that surged over the headland. It was a moment of awe and fear, showcasing the raw power of nature. Despite the magnitude of this wave, none of the local Alaskans attempted to surf it, a decision that speaks to the intimidating force of this natural phenomenon. And at number 9, let's talk about sharks. Sharks are definitely on the mind of surfers, and it's not just a hunch. According to American Surf Magazine, a staggering 66% of surfers admit they think about sharks while catching waves, and it turns out they have a reason for it. Surfing puts you in the shark zone more than any card game ever could. In fact, 51% of shark attacks happen to surfers. But before you start panicking, here's a twist. Your chances of actually getting bit by a shark are pretty slim, about 1 in 3.8 million. It turns out you're more likely to get taken out by the thing mentioned in fact number 8, a coconut. Yep, you heard that right. Every year, around 150 people worldwide meet their end thanks to falling coconuts. And while Hollywood loves to churn out shark flicks, there's yet to be a blockbuster about the deadly strike of coconuts. Go figure. Now it's time for number 7. Surfing isn't just a sport, it's a global phenomenon with millions hitting the waves. It's estimated that the world has over 25 million surfers. That's a lot of people looking for the perfect wave. When it comes to where these surfers are, the USA and Australia are leading the pack. The USA has around 3 million surfers, which is impressive, but Australia with its 2.5 million surfers really stands out, especially considering its population is just 25 million. That means about 10% of all Aussies are out there surfing. Number 6. But out of all these people, there's only one number 1. In the world of surfing, the GOAT debate seems to have a more clear-cut answer compared to other sports like tennis or basketball. The name that most people agree on? Kelly Slater. Kelly Slater's achievements are nothing short of legendary. He's an 11-time world champion, a record that speaks volumes about his dominance in the sport. But that's not all. He's also made history as both the youngest and the oldest surfing champion, showcasing an incredible span of top-level performance. On the top of his impressive accolades, Slater is also an innovator. He's the pioneer behind wave pool technology, a game changer in the surfing world. This technology has opened up new possibilities for the sport, bringing surfing to places and people far from the traditional ocean waves. But if anyone comes near Kelly's status, it's the surfer I'm about to mention, in fact, number 5. Bethany Hamilton. Bethany Hamilton was just 13 years old when surfing in Hawaii. She faced a horrific tiger shark attack. The shark bit off her arm, and during this ordeal, Bethany lost more than 60% of her blood. But what happened next is truly inspiring. After her recovery, Bethany didn't just get back on the board, she soared to new heights. She turned professional, competing in and winning surf competitions. Bethany also shared her remarkable story through books, offering insights into her experience and the incredible journey that followed her attack. Quite wholesome, right? But speaking of wholesome, let's jump right to fact number 4. The World Dog Surfing Championship is definitely one of the more unique and delightful twists in the world of surfing. Every year in Northern California, this event brings together over 50 dogs, all ready to show off their wave-catching skills. It's not just about splashing around. These talented pooches are judged on their style and technical ability, much like their human counterparts. But what makes this event even more special is its purpose. All the proceeds from the World Dog Surfing Championships go towards supporting local animal shelters and pet charities. Now, it's time for number 3. Back in March 2005 in Australia, 47 surfers teamed up for an incredible feat. They all hopped on a gigantic 39-foot surfboard and successfully rode a wave together. Fast forward to 2015, and this impressive record was shattered in Huntington Beach, California. This time, 66 surfers took to the waves on an even bigger board measuring 42 feet. Together, they navigated the waters, creating a stunning spectacle and setting a new record in the process. Now at number 2, let's look at one wave that I can bet none of these surfers would dare to surf. Oahu's Bonsai Pipeline is indeed the stuff of legends in the surfing world. Known for its daredevil tube riding, this wave is notorious for its power and sheer skill it demands. And only the bravest and most experienced surfers can conquer this wave. Finally, let's get to fact number 1. June 20th is the day every surfer and beach lover should circle on their calendars. It's International Surfing Day. This is when surfing communities around the world, from Hawaii to Australia to Brazil, come together to celebrate their love for surfing.